Wow, wow, wow. The Pacers did that thing again where they played at ludicrous speed. And just wore down the other team by the end of the game, smashing OKC by 14 points in the fourth quarter. This game was the Ben Mathurin game, going full microwave with 27 points in 22 minutes off the bench, leading the team in free throw attempts and going 9 of 12 from the floor. And his burst and energy were an immediate injection of life into the game as he finished plus 16 on the court in his 22 minutes. This was also the TJ McConnell inbounds game, as TJ had 5 steals in just 15 minutes, including not 1, not 2, but 3 interceptions on inbounds passes like this, each one maybe getting better than the next, and TJ's just the 3rd player ever to register 5 steals in just 15 minutes in a playoff game, and he's the first to do it in 41 years. But the biggest key to this game was Rick Carlisle and his staff making a ton of successful adjustments to poke and prod and chip away at an Oklahoma City defense that has no clear weaknesses. Right out of the gate, the first adjustment was sticking Pascal Siakam at the elbow as a hub, which gets Tyrese Haliburton off ball, and they end up with a foul on the switch. Here it's McConnell running point. They feed Siakam and get into that 3-man action. Again, that generates the switch for Pascal to head to the post. They don't ever try the entry pass here, but look at the spacing right now. One big is pulled out on Mathurin. Miles Turner is stretching Chet Holmgren out of the paint. And so when TJ drives here, there are no bigs left in the lane to help. It's a great pass over a small defender for 2. So while they only ran this a bit, it was a nice curveball from Indy to involve Siakam and Haliburton together in actions. And it also naturally brings Pascal out of the low post. So instead of looking for a seal at the rim and having to deal with these swarming Thunder defenders on an entry pass, they just wanted to get Siakam touches inside the arc and give him space to work with. He attacks Shai early with his patented spin move, because even if he catches it on the outside, he can back down smaller defenders if there's no help, and that's good defense but a comfortable look for Pascal. Shai Gilgeous-Alexander isn't really a weak defender, but he's usually the weakest defender in their lineup, and going after him will wear him down. And this is also some Jedi basketball from Siakam, waiting for Isaiah Hartenstein to leave, lulling Shai to sleep, and then attacking that vacated space. This time, Jalen Williams is on Pascal. He doesn't care and goes early with that jab step. The help comes on the spin, so he hits Nesmith, relocating back to the corner for a huge 3. And this was my favorite, again going early off that same jab step move before getting into his bag. But look at how this play materializes. Siakam and Turner screen for Hallie. That forces a switch. Haliburton's off ball and pulls his defender with him. So when it hits Siakam, Holmgren's really the only help defender. And because of Haliburton's gravity, Miles is a great backup option above the arc. They also use Siakam as the ball handler and Haliburton as a screener for the first time in this series. And the Thunder defend the initial action well here and avoid a switch, but when they manipulate the space for Pascal to attack, Alex Caruso comes way off to help. That gets Haliburton downhill and space for the little floater. A minute later when they run it, you see the full power. Haliburton's gravity keeps his man glued to him, which gives Siakam space to attack, and so another adjustment was getting Haliburton off the ball more. This can be an early offense when someone else brings it up. Then when Haliburton comes back for the ball, SGA switches it. That leaves Lou Dort behind the screening action. Hallie then has space to attack and cross over. He stops on a dime, and that's a clean look. They also like these 3-man actions where Tyrese brings it up right before a screen arrives. He gets off the ball, then just chases it down. And this off-ball screen creates a moment of confusion where SGA doesn't think he needs to switch. When he does, he's a touch behind the action. That collapses the defense and leaves that original screener open, and it's a nice short mid-ranger. And the exact same thing happens here. With the screener defender glitching for half a second, Hallie makes a great skip pass to the corner, and that read generates free throws. And we've already seen him as a screener, and I just love those actions. Broken play here, he fakes setting the screen, that gets the defense recovering, and it's another paint touch and a clean look. And that screen gravity helped freeze McConnell's defender at the end of the first half and set him up for that little pull-up of his in the paint. Now, during the Eastern Finals, Indiana bludgeoned New York by running staggered screens at both Jalen Brunson and Karl Anthony Towns. And this setup is a little tricky to defend because it asks the guard whether he's going to switch into the action first before the ball even gets to the big. And so if he does, Indiana can attack the two weakest links in the chain at the same time. So the Pacers started this double hunting against OKC, first getting the weakest guard to switch to Haliburton, then running the pick and roll into a dropping big, plenty of space for that three there. Then the Benegizer bunny keeps it alive, and on the scramble, OKC's weakest off-ball defender is now on Haliburton, totally misreads the play in the corner. That's a beautiful touch pass from Hallie and another open three. This time it's SGA as the first link, and this approach just created much better possessions for the Pacers offense compared to most of the games in OKC. And I love how much space is between these screens, so when they get the switch, Hallie can cross into daylight and it's another silky runner. Haliburton made a personal adjustment in this game by repeatedly rejecting the screen like this. And that means instead of using the pick traditionally, he throws his defender off by going away from the screen. Amazing rescreen by Turner there, and then he's rewarded with a nice pass for a clean jumper. Here, Tyrese is off ball again. His man is in help position, so he's recovering on the pitch, but instead of using that screen, Hallie rejects it again, and it's yet another paint touch and good process for the Pacers. And here's another counter from Haliburton because he knows the Thunder like to help hard and then recover on this pass. So Reese goes next level, coming off the screen and ball faking to move the defender, then just launching one from deep. And so he's picking up a feel for this Thunder defense, understanding the corner wants to help early here. So he just throws it early, and that's a ridiculous pass to get Toppin downhill. Hallie was more aggressive in this game from the start, looking for his shot in tighter spots, and some of his transition passes were just ridiculous. These are subtle hit-aheads over the top that sprang Siakam into really tight windows against a recovering defense, and so the Pacers found some cracks in that great transition defense.
The rebound. Obi Toppin run on the floor inside. Nothing counted out, a foul.
That happens so fast it's easy to miss, but Kenrich Williams and Isaiah Joe don't communicate about who has the ball. Great read by Haliburton. Toppin's going 100 miles an hour. Turner sets an awesome screen that Mathurin uses to cut behind Chet, and that is so good. Even the Pacers' defensive adjustments were big in this game. The first one was a counter on Shai's post-ups from Game 2, where doubling at a different angle threw him off a bit, and Haliburton even sprang this on him when he dribbled into that position in the third that killed the action initially, and on the reset, the double then comes diagonally from the opposite side. Haliburton leaves to gamble, but SGA misses Chet on the baseline, and it's a really tough fadeaway. They also adjusted their screening coverage on Shai. This was the most aggressive they've been with the screen defender up near the ball, and so they create confusion by mixing up the coverages. SGA thinks his defender's staying with him, but as Toppin slides, it's a late switch, and that switch allows the help defender to release back to the corner, and it's another TJ steal. And my favorite adjustment was having Turner come out in the second half and splits Shai, which caught him off guard for the jump ball here and ultimately a turnover. And you see Miles coming out to the level of the screen to contain that dribble, get the ball out of Shai's hands, and avoid any of those splits he had in game 2. That was a point of emphasis for the Pacers coming into this one after a number of breakdowns where SGA just split the screen.
And I think in game 2 specifically, if you watch a lot of my coverages, I did a poor job of being at the level. I was back, and then he could come off, and he had so much space, and now he's kind of manipulating me with in and out, or he can just split and throw through. I thought that was something we really had to clean up coming into today, and you're consistently trying to mix things up, because if you give any good player the same look over and over, it can be really tough. So, whatever it is, a show at the level, I just can't be flat. If I'm flat, there's nothing I can do with him coming downhill. So
if you look at this play, notice Turner shrinking that space so Shai can't squeeze through. Then he pushes him toward the sideline. Haliburton's early with the help and walks right into a pick 6 and a steal. So this was an excellent performance from Haliburton and Siakam, both finding little counters and adjustments against the Thunder defense, but they were also put in position to succeed by this masterclass of adjustments from the Indiana coaching staff. And that created a very Pacer-like feel. Tons of quick flowing actions in the half court and playing at a breakneck pace that potentially wore down the Thunder late in the game as Indiana continued its magical playoff run, moving 2 games away from an NBA championship. If you want to work in basketball, I have the place for you. It's Sports Business Classroom's immersive program inside Summer League in Las Vegas. Past instructors in this program have included Commissioner Adam Silver, Mike D'Antoni, and tons of other industry leaders in the NBA and in media. Sign up using the code GREATDAY for $300 off. There's more information in the description box below if you are interested. For additional content and to directly support this channel, check out patreon.com/thinkingbasketball. Thanks as always for all of your support, and wherever you're enjoying the finals from, I hope that you are having a great day.